Without a doubt, Frieren Beyond Journey's End took the anime industry by storm when it debuted back in 2023, and that held its dominance in its entire two-core run, topping TV broadcast rankings, streaming charts, and even trending sites globally. To this day, it still holds the #1 slot in my anime list by a significant margin. But many are asking, what is so great about Frieren? Why is this show garnering so much attention and praise? Why is there thousands of fan art created every single episode? Why is it more popular than my favorite shonen series? Is it the animation, presentation, characters, story? Does it have some massive plot twist? Well, after watching the entire thing and absolutely loving it, I took a moment to really consider my thoughts on why this series is, well, let's face it, perfect. So strap in. This is my review of Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Frieren Beyond Journey's End opens up after the Demon King has been defeated by the Heroes Party. The Heroes Party, led by Himmel, return home to celebrate their victory, receiving praise from the kingdom and contemplating their futures now that their quest is complete. That's when our focus shifts specifically on the mage of the party, the long-lived elf Frieren. Unlike the rest of the party members, she views her time and experience with them like a blip in her lifetime, so she quickly returns back to her normal routines, hunting down grimoires and just traveling the world. However, everything changes for her when she actually attends the funeral of Himmel. She comes to realize that, despite thinking that she had no real attachment to her time traveling with Himmel and the others, that their time together was just a mere 10 years, she's suddenly filled with regret and sadness for what she overlooked. Cutting forward, Frieren is given both a mission and an apprentice by the remaining party members. This is a mission to travel far north to see her fallen comrades again, potentially allowing her to have the conversations and goodbyes that she never gave before. During her travels, Frieren will recall the events of her time with the Heroes Party. Experience that she once gave little value to now shapes not just herself, but the people of the world that she once passed without notice. She also learns from her traveling partners and bestows her own vast knowledge, all while facing many struggles and encounters from both the scars and the remnants of the Demon King's army. Frieren Beyond Journey's End is without a doubt the prime example of both cinematic brilliance and consistent storytelling genius. Yes, let's get it out of the way. This series from beginning to end was pure visual and audio gold. The folks at Madhouse pretty much made a TV series on par with theatrical films, attacking our eyeballs on a week-to-week basis for 6 whole months. Something very rarely seen in the anime industry that is, unfortunately, inundated with just poor quality adaptations. This is all thanks in part to it being broadcast on Madhouse parent company's Nippon TV's feature film block, the meticulous work of Keiichiro Saito, the beautiful music of Evan Call, and yes, the passionate work of the animation team. There's a consistency to the quality the series maintains. Yes, there's a simplicity to some of the character designs, but even still there's a liveliness to their motions and their movements. I mean, damn. If the clothing physics in this series is not next level, I don't know what is. Jokes aside, there's something to be said about the immersion that you get from fluidity and expression and emotion. Something that makes you believe what you're watching is reality and captures you in the setting. And this of course extends over to the action scenes themselves, which this series features some of the most rewatchable clips of visual spectacle. From Fern casually walking down a walkway of a fortification wall countering attacks, Stark mounting the side of a dragon during an epic fight, Ubel's bout with a replica, to the series' final climactic battle in the tomb. Every single one of them is filled with dynamic and cinematic shots that are just hard to find really anywhere else. Even when things are getting chaotic and explosive, it still manages to keep from falling into the standard mess of smears and darting lights that many series fall prey to. Then there's the varied settings, backgrounds, characters, spells, all presented with detail and colors that just pop. All the while, yes, like I said earlier, with Evan Call's perfectly timed and fitting music that takes everything to another level. I could go on and on and on. Frieren, hands down, is one of the most beautiful series I have ever seen. But that's enough about visual stuff, because let's face it, a show cannot be carried by visuals alone, even though many will claim that it's carried by the animation. Let's talk about what makes the story and characters of Frieren so special. I want to make it very clear that Frieren Beyond Journey's End cannot be defined as a single narrative. While yes, the overall plotline is Frieren discovering what she overlooked in her time, traveling with Himmel, due to the dynamic characters of the story, the individual plots it tells are ever evolving. Early on, Frieren is seen as a long-living elf, not paying much attention to the short-lived lives around her. This is due to how elves, who live thousands of years, just see the flow of time differently. A mere 10 years, as she puts it, has no impact on her life. This is perfectly portrayed in the first episode, as time flows quickly for everyone else while she's just casually traveling around over a few cuts. However, after the loss of Himmel, things shift dramatically for her character. While her personality doesn't shift like a flick of a light switch, she's immediately shocked by her own failures to take note of what was around her. This leads into a long, gradual tale of her regretful decisions to ignore her surroundings, giving us a look at her retracing the steps of the hero's journey and recounting the experiences that she overlooked. It's a realization that's both heartwarming while also tragic, as it's a deep reminder to cherish the moments you have with others, and to never take for granted what experiences you have, all leading to a character that's shockingly different at the end of the story compared to the beginning, in both personality and the way that she reacts to others. With every experience that we got to see of what Himmel did, and how it shaped the others and strangers alike, I couldn't help but feel Frieren's regret, while also understanding her newfound joy. It was as if she was experiencing everything for the first time, just as I was, making it a truly unique experience that I've never really felt in any other story. Additionally, in a seemingly imperfect world that it can be, Frieren is joined by many other characters that have their own stories and struggles. Her apprentice, Fern, the pouty-faced Fern, pretty much picks up where Himmel left off, seemingly trying to drill into Frieren's head to respect time. Not only that, but she grows as a young apprentice to one that, in many ways, rivals her master. Through her learning from Frieren, we get a deeper insight into the world of magic, while also seeing a child grow to an adult of her own. Her pouty, immature nature often seemingly counter to how she acts around Frieren as pretty much the mother of this 1,000-year-old elf. It all adds a cute spice to what would otherwise be a very heavy narrative. Stark, the apprentice of Eisen, who was the warrior for Himmel's party, Stark serves as an interesting look into the levels that one can obtain through just hard work and courage. A boy dealing with regrets of his own that, similar to Fern, is slowly growing to a respectable warrior, despite being pretty much the butt of every joke. I feel bad for Stark. Now, one of the most fascinating characters for the first half of this entire series was the demons. These are monsters who mimic the human language in order to trick them into trusting them, like invoking the cries for a mother despite not even knowing what that means. It was truly haunting, while at the same time intriguing because it begs the question of morality, sentience, justification for actions that characters take when they're handling their presence. It was also intriguing how these demons themselves shape the world and how mankind has risen. Their long lives, their pride, and their desire to master a single spell. How that shapes the magic itself and brings it to the study of humans to use as well. It's all world building and mechanics that I absolutely eat up. But better yet, remains consistent from episode 1 all the way to its finale. Always breadcrumbing, expanding, and ever intriguing. There is no shortage of characters in this series, and with each one introduced, I found myself engaged with their stories, personalities, and whatever backstories we got into. Truly a cast of characters and relatability that made each one of them memorable. It's also thanks to the varied characters introduced that this series handles a large list of topics and situations that are all handled beautifully. Loss, regret, pride, legacy, strength, weakness, goals, futures, morality, beliefs, nurturing, love, friendship, hatred, the list goes on. With every single story, even while some seem simple or inconsequential, the writing and the way that it's presented always nails it. It's portrayed with impact to drive it home. Without a doubt, Frieren Beyond Journey's End is a masterpiece, through and through. A story that handles both human emotion and fantasy elements in a way that is so perfectly balanced that it never finds itself in a lull. Thanks to its revolving narrative and shifting plot lines, it's a story that I found myself invested in with every turn. A series that I found hard to condense into a single review, but really is a series that I feel will stand the test of time as a classic anime series for years to come. And a series that I hope will return for a second season. That is my review of Frieren Beyond Journey's End. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as always. If you did, make sure to hit that like button before you leave. Leave a comment. Let me know if you like this series, if you're going to be checking it out. Additionally, if you're new to this channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you get my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list if it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you like this content and you want to support this channel more and what I do here, I have a Patreon link, tips link, super thanks, membership button down below. Greatly appreciate what it does, and y'all take care.